Some cats leave and never come back, but some come back when they shouldn't, after the house is quiet, after the bowl is empty, after the collar is on the floor, after everyone has accepted that it's over. Then one night you hear it. A soft sound, not loud enough to be human, not heavy enough to be a dog, just the smallest footsteps moving through the hallway. And the terrifying part is this. Sometimes the cat is already dead. Stay until the last story, because it doesn't sound like a coincidence. It sounds like a message. Cats are masters of absence. They can vanish inside a house without leaving a trace. No footsteps, no sound, no warning. And when they're gone, the silence feels wrong. Not empty, wrong. Because cats don't just live in our homes, they shape them. They become part of the rhythm, the soft weight on the bed, the shadow on the stairs, the stare from the doorway. So when a cat dies, the house doesn't just lose an animal, it loses a presence. And yet, people all over the world tell the same story. They felt their cat jump onto the bed weeks after it passed. They heard purring in an empty room. They saw a shape cross the hallway and disappear. Is it grief? Is it memory? Or is there something about cats that doesn't fully leave? Before we begin, tell me where you're listening from and what time it is there. And if you've ever lost a cat, stay with me. Because this story isn't just scary, it's personal. The first story always begins the same way. A house at night, the lights off, the world quiet, and then a sound. The faint tap of claws on wood, the rustle of fur against fabric, the creak of a mattress, like something small just climbed onto it. At first, you don't panic, because your body recognizes it. It's normal. It's familiar. Your brain whispers, "The cat is here." Then you remember, no, it can't be. And that's when the cold feeling arrives. Not fear, not yet. Something deeper, the feeling that reality just slipped. Some people keep the collar. They place it on a shelf, a small relic, a piece of a life. But sometimes the collar moves. It falls. It appears somewhere else, and it's easy to explain. Gravity, wind, a careless hand, until it happens more than once, until it happens on nights when the house is locked and nobody touched it. And then the mind does something dangerous. It begins to wonder if the cat is still here, not alive but present. Cats don't walk like humans, they don't stomp, they glide, but on the right floor, in the right silence, you can hear them. Soft steps, like a quiet metronome. Tap, tap, tap. And some people swear they heard those footsteps after death. Not random, not chaotic. A pattern, moving from the hallway to the bedroom, then stopping right at the doorway, like the cat was doing what it always did. Standing guard, watching, waiting. And the most disturbing detail, sometimes the footsteps stop and you feel watched from a place you cannot see. Here's where the stories turn emotional, not just creepy, because many people describe something specific, a final visit, a final moment. They felt the cat curl against their legs. They felt the vibration of purring. They heard the tiniest meow. Then nothing. And it never happened again. Almost like the cat returned once, for one reason. Not to haunt, not to scare. To close the door, to finish the bond, to say, "I'm leaving now." And that is what makes it so hard to dismiss, because fear isn't the only thing people feel. Sometimes they feel comfort. Some houses feel normal, and some houses feel thin. Thin walls, thin air, thin silence. Places where shadows feel deeper, corners where the temperature drops, hallways that always feel watched. And cats react to these places. They stare. They refuse to enter. They sit like statues, watching something that isn't there. So when a cat dies, and the house still feels alive, people wonder if cats leave behind an imprint, not a ghost, a trace, like a scent you can't smell, like warmth that remains in a blanket, like the memory of movement stuck in the architecture. Some stories go further. They claim the cat didn't just return as a sound, it returned as a shape, a shadow in the corner of your eye, a flicker near the stairs, a black silhouette crossing the hallway. And when you turn your head, nothing but cats move like that, fast, silent, untraceable. So your brain fills in the shape, because your brain has been trained by years of feline presence. And the house still expects the cat to exist. Now we enter the stranger category, the ones that feel impossible. A cat disappears. Days pass, weeks. The family mourns. They assume the worst. Then, one night, a scratch at the door. A familiar meow. A cat standing outside, dirty, thin, but alive, and it walks in like nothing happened, like it simply went somewhere and came back. Cats have done this for centuries. They return from miles away. They find their way home through storms, through cities, through impossible distances, and sometimes it feels less like survival and more like destiny, like the cat was pulled back. So what are we really talking about? Two different kinds of return. One is physical, a lost cat that came back alive. The other is spiritual, a cat that came back when it couldn't. And here's the truth. Both are terrifying in their own way, because both suggest the same thing. Cats do not belong entirely to us. They move through the world with rules we don't understand. They vanish, they return, they appear in the night like they were never gone, and we are left with the same question every time. Where did it go? And what did it see while it was gone? From a scientific perspective, there are explanations for many of these experiences. Grief can create sensory illusions. The brain expects familiar patterns. It can hear a sound it misses. It can feel a presence it remembers. This is especially common at night, when the house is quiet, when the mind is half awake. There's also something called hypnagogia, the state between waking and sleep, where sounds and sensations can feel completely real. And yet, science also admits something important. Cats are unusually capable of returning home. Studies suggest they may use scent mapping and possibly geomagnetic cues. They build internal maps of territory. They remember routes. They survive independently. So even the realistic stories still feel supernatural, because cats do what most animals can't. They return from the impossible. And that's why the line between ghost story and real story feels so thin with cats. Now we reach the last story, the one that sounds like a message. A person loses their cat. They mourn. They place the collar on a shelf. They stop hearing footsteps. The house becomes quiet again. Then one night, they dream of the cat. Not a normal dream, not random. The cat looks directly at them, calm, almost serious. Then the dream ends, and when they wake up, the collar is on the floor, not fallen, placed, perfectly centered. Like someone set it down. The house is locked, no windows open, no wind, no explanation. And that's the moment people stop saying, "I miss my cat," and start saying, "My cat came back." Because it wasn't the sound, it wasn't the shadow, it wasn't the memory, it was intention. It felt deliberate, like the cat reached through something unseen to touch the world one last time. And here's the terrifying thought. If cats can return, even after death, then maybe they were never fully trapped in our world to begin with. Maybe they live close to a door we can't see, and maybe, sometimes, they choose to open it, just enough to remind you they're still watching.